All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first MB4U for the 24-25 school year. So this is a webinar series that we'll do through the school year. Every first Tuesday of the month at 4 o'clock, you can learn about all the different member benefits that we have. We are excited to have the standard team with us. Kara Herbert will be presenting some great information about enrollment opportunities and about the insurance products that the standard our endorsed partner has. So without further ado, let me start the slideshow. Give me 1 second. Perfect. All right. Can you guys see the screen?
I can see the screen. Hopefully everyone can.
Okay, great.
Okay, and if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. Veronica gave a thumbs up. She can see it. That's awesome. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kara Haber, and I'm the director of the sales and marketing team here on the dedicated CTA team at The Standard. The Standard is very proud to be the only insurance carrier that is endorsed for the disability and life insurance products. And that's what we're going to, couple of things that we're going to talk about this afternoon. So if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Really quickly, we'll walk through our agenda. So we're going to be talking about the insurance and products this afternoon. So we'll start with what is disability insurance? Do you really need it? We'll talk about the details of the endorsed plans. We're going to chat briefly about some special enrollment opportunities that some of you may be eligible for, how to get in touch with us or apply. And then my very favorite part, we're going to do some trivia. So you want to be listening as I'm talking. And that way you may be able to guess the answer to the trivia questions. I will be giving out $25 virtual or digital Amazon gift cards. So when we get to that portion, I'll explain how we'll play that game. But let's jump right on in. Let's go to the next slide. So do you really need disability insurance? I'm actually going to answer that question by telling you a really quick story. So we at the Standard go to a lot of CTA's conferences. You may have seen us there at our table, maybe come up and taken our survey. Lots of leaders and members come over to say hi to us. And sometimes they tell us how the insurance has helped them. So I was at a conference just a little bit over a year ago, and a gentleman came up to say hello and to tell me what a great job our claims team had done for him. And he told me the story of how he became disabled. He had apparently decided to go clean out his gutters himself. I personally feel like that's something that I would hire a professional to do it, but he had decided to do it himself. And he was up on his, like big ladder leaning up against the side of his house. And apparently one section of his gutters were, I don't know, like really dirty or clogged or something, but he had to use a little bit extra effort to try to clean them out. And he inadvertently pushed on the ladder, sort of like pushed against his house. And I wish I was on camera to show you the visual of this, but picture my arm. He went, shh, the ladder went and he went with it. The good news is that he's okay, right? Like he did not break his back, he did not break his neck, but he did break both of his legs, which is still not great. And what he said to me was, if I didn't have disability insurance, I think my wife may have divorced me. So I'm sure everybody on this call would hire someone to clean out the gutters. But do you need disability insurance? You might. You might, because you never know when something like that is going to happen. And what disability insurance does for you is it's meant to replace a portion of your income if you're not able to work because of illness, injury, pregnancy, or childbirth. And if you look at that first bullet point there, because you might be thinking like, well, I'm not going to fall off a ladder. I'm pretty sure he said the same thing. But if you look at that first bullet point, this actually comes from the Social Security Administration, and their data shows 1 in 4 of working age adults will experience a disability during our careers. And when you consider the fact that pregnancy and childbirth are disabilities, that makes sense. I'm actually surprised that it's not a little bit higher. If they'd only surveyed women of childbearing age, that number may have gone up. Another really important thing for you to know is that educators in California, for the most part, are not eligible for the state disability insurance. So if you weren't able to work due to illness, injury, pregnancy, or childbirth, and you're not eligible for the state disability plan, what would you do? You know, like, well, you'd have to consider, well, how much sick time do you have? Because you would need potentially to use that up. And once your sick time runs out, does your district give you substitute differential, which we're going to talk a little bit about on another slide? And how much might that be? And if not, how much do you have in savings? How long could your savings last? If you look at that purple box there on the screen, this is a national survey where that question was asked. How long could you or your family go without your paycheck if you're not working? Of all of across the country, of all the adults who were surveyed, 46% said 3 months or less. We actually did a survey several years ago just of CTA members, and we asked a similar question. 65% said 3 months or less. And, you know, life has just gotten more expensive since then. It can be really hard to set money aside. So when we consider all of these things and the question of should I get disability insurance, for most of us, the answer is probably yes. You know, unless you have sort of, you know, like unlimited savings, um, or other resources, you may want to consider the disability insurance. In that orange box, it shows you some of the top causes. This is from the standard's own data. So this shows you the top reasons why CTA members use their disability insurance. You'll hear me say pregnancy and childbirth over and over. That is one of the top reasons, of course, and that's a happy reason to have a disability claim. But the other top reason that we're seeing right now is for mental health conditions. We here at the standard treat mental health as we would any other, you know, health condition or illness. It is absolutely eligible for disability claims if you're unable to work and under the care of a doctor, and that we're seeing a lot of that right now. But also muscle and bone conditions is a top cause. Cancer, unfortunately, is a top cause. Reproductive issues, and then accidents like our friend who decided to clean out the gutter. These are the things that do happen to people every day, and you want to make sure that you and your family are protected. Could we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So why should you choose the CTA endorsed disability insurance? Like I mentioned, we're so proud to have CTA's endorsement. And I like to always point out that first sentence there that you see on the slide. Health insurance is going to pay your doctor. Disability insurance pays you. That's true of all disability insurance plans. This particular plan, though, will replace up to 80% of your regular daily income. So that's a nice peace of mind in my opinion. You know, like 80%, knowing that you're not going to go below that. Then you can kind of see like, oh, well, could I pay my bills with 80%? You might feel a lot better about that. These are benefits that are paid directly to you. This is cash for you to decide how to use it. It doesn't go to the doctor, it goes to you. So if you need to pay your rent or your mortgage, childcare, groceries, whatever it is that you or your family needs, you get to decide how to use these benefits. The CTA endorsed disability plan covers disabilities that happen on or off the job. So if you got hurt in your classroom and you were not able to work, you might be eligible for workers' comp, in which case we would coordinate with them, but you would also be eligible to get benefits from this plan. You may have heard pre-existing conditions talked about a lot. This plan has a very short pre-existing exclusion period of 10 of your regular, you see there on the screen, regular days of required attendance. What that means is your regularly scheduled days. And how this works is once you become covered by the insurance and your insurance takes effect, you just need to work 10 of your regularly scheduled work days in a row, so consecutive RDRAs. After that point, then any claim you might need to file due to a pre-existing condition, you would be eligible to apply for that claim. And then the last bullet point there you can see it starts paying benefits after 7 work days. That's typical with most plans. So that's a good way to think about like, well, what's the difference between just being sick and being disabled? A disability is something, as we mentioned, that's going to prevent you from working. You're under the care of a doctor, and you're going to be out of work for more than 7 days. That's the point at which you might be eligible to file for benefits. Can we go on down to the next slide, please? Thank you. But wait, there's more. Now, because this is the CTA endorsed plan, of course, there's always extras baked into it there. And these are extra benefits that are just included with the plan. You don't need to pay extra for them. You don't need to ask to get them. They are just automatically included with the CTA endorsed disability insurance. First one is a student loan benefit. Lots of educators are still carrying those student loans. If you were on an approved disability claim, you could get a benefit of up to $400 per month, up to a maximum of $2,400 while you remain disabled. If your disability is due to cancer, you could also get up to $400 per month, again, to a maximum of $2,400. And that last one is one that everyone keeps asking us about. It is the summer benefit. This is a new enhancement that was introduced last year. Typically, a lot of educators don't work during the summer. And so normally, if you did experience a disability during that time, there wouldn't be anything for us to pay you, right? Disability insurance is meant to replace a portion of your income that you might be missing. If you're not working, you're not really missing any income. But we also know that educators really want to be in the classroom. And if you have a choice about when to experience a disability, for example, if you're planning a surgery or something like that, we know that you'd rather do it during the summertime. You don't want to miss a time with your students. So that is one reason why this benefit was added. And it is $500 per week if you become or continue to be disabled between June 1st and July 31st of any given year. So that is, it's to a maximum of $4,500. You can get it for 2 consecutive years. So that is a fantastic benefit. Can we go on down to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is something that people ask us a lot is, okay, so how do the insurance benefits work? So I'm going to walk you through this slide. So as I've mentioned, there is that benefit waiting period. So for the first 7 days, benefits are not payable. If you continue to be disabled after those 7 days, then you are going to have to use your sick leave. But the plan pays you a benefit on top of that. So that benefit is $25 per day. Following your sick leave, you may move on to substitute differential. And so that is where your district is going to, if you're going to be out for an extended period of time, they're going to hire a sub probably. And what they'll do is pay the sub first, the sub's daily rate. And then whatever the difference is between that sub rate and your daily rate, they may pay that amount to you. So the challenge that we see in a lot of districts is that the sub rates can be really high. And so you'd have to think about, okay, well, how does that sub rate compare to my daily rate? Is there a lot left over? But you don't have to worry if you're covered by the CT endorsed plan because we are going to bridge that gap. You're not going to go below 80%. Whatever the amount that the district pays you, we're just going to bridge that gap to bring you up to 80. During this time in the benefit cycle, we also have a minimum benefit in place. So the minimum benefit that you might get is 25% or $30 per day, whichever is greater. Then following the subdifferential period, after that, if you continue to be disabled, then it's up to 80% directly from the standard. That would be less any sources of deductible income that you might have. And that will extend for up to 2 benefit years following. So the 2 benefit years that clock does not start until after your sick leave ends. So for up to 2 years, you could get this. What happens after those 2 years, that depends on where you are with being vested with STRS or PERS. So if you have more than 5 years of service vested with STRS or PERS, then you would be eligible for their disability program. But if you have less, then you would, and you remain disabled, then you would be eligible to continue receiving benefits from the standard up to age 65 if you continue to be disabled that long. So either way, you would be protected. So I know that was a lot of information about the disability insurance, and I went through it fairly quickly. If you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm also going to show you at the end how you can get in contact with the standard if you have more questions about the disability insurance. But I want to go on to the next slide now and talk a little bit about life insurance. If we can, there we go. So life insurance is fairly self-explanatory. You know, like we don't like to think about this, but if something happened to us, we would want our loved ones to be taken care of, and that's what life insurance is for. The question is like, well, how much should you get? Now, I would normally tell people you can never have too much life insurance, right? You live in California, it's an expensive state, and no beneficiary ever said, oh no, I've been given too much life insurance, right? But some ways to consider um, the amount that you might want to get is consider what your goals would be for your life insurance. Do you want to make sure, do you want to have enough to pay off your mortgage, for example? Do you have children and do you want to kind of make sure that they're going to be taken care of or plan for their education? Do you have your own debts that you want to make sure are settled and that your family doesn't have to worry about? There's some numbers here on the screen. These are averages across California. That mortgage one, I honestly think is low, but according to the published data, the average mortgage in California is 421,000. If your goal is to make sure that your mortgage can be paid off, then that's a number you might want to consider. We all know raising children from birth to 18 is it's expensive. 310,000 is the average, so that might be another number that you might want to consider when thinking about how much should you get. For the CT endorsed plan, there's we're going to talk a little bit later about special enrollment opportunities during which you may be able to get into the life insurance without having to answer any health questions, which is really nice. The application is easy and it's online. A nice feature of this plan is that it includes matching accidental death and dismemberment insurance. So whatever amount of life insurance you choose to purchase, you would get the same exact amount of AD&D, is the shorthand for that, accidental death and dismemberment, and that is included in the rate. You don't pay extra for that. Could we go on to the next slide? And then, of course, because it is a CT endorsed plan, there's always extras. These are two that I really like. The Life Services Toolkit is included with all of our life insurance plans. And this is nice because there's tools that you can use now, and then there's additional support for your beneficiaries if a loss happens. So and the online tools that are available to you are things for like estate planning. There's a legal library. There's some financial fitness tools in there. So there's a lot of really good information in there. And then for your beneficiaries, the thing I think is probably the most important if there is a loss is that they get grief counseling. They would be able to get 6 face-to-face grief counseling sessions and then unlimited phone calls for 12 months following the loss. And I think that is so valuable and so important. And then there's also, they could get like a legal consultation, and there's like financial counselor consultations for them. So it's just a really nice added feature to the CT endorsed life insurance. And then there's also travel assistance, and that is included in the life insurance. And that is, again, something you can benefit from now. And that provides you with support if you are more than 100 miles from home or traveling internationally. So travel assistance helps you with things like if you have a medical emergency while you're traveling, or if you lose your credit cards or your passport or your prescriptions, they can help you get replacements. They can help you navigate, it's especially helpful if you're in a foreign country, they can help you navigate the local environment to get whatever kind of support you might need. And there's other things that they do as well. So that's a nice value add that goes along with the life insurance. All right, can we go on to the next slide, please? Thank you. So I've mentioned a couple of times that there are some special enrollment opportunities. As a CTA member, you are always able to apply for the endorsed disability or life insurance at any time. But you may be asked to fill out to provide proof of good health. And we don't do physical exams. You don't have to go for a blood test. You would need to complete a medical health statement, and you would answer some questions about your health. We do offer, though, several what we call special enrollment opportunities where you don't have to do that. You don't have to complete that medical health statement. The first one that I want to mention is going on right now. So if you are a newly hired educator, and that includes district transfers, so if you transferred districts this year, this opportunity applies to you as well. You have a special enrollment opportunity to get into the disability insurance and up to $400,000 of the guarantee issue life insurance. Guarantee issue means you don't answer health questions. Again, yeah, there it's redundant without answering those health questions. So it's a great opportunity. This is the highest amount of guarantee issue life insurance that we offer. So if you're thinking about that screen and thinking about how much life insurance you might need to have, this is your best opportunity to get those higher amounts. You have 270 days to do so, but what we have seen in our experience is that once you're back in your classroom, you're just going to be really busy. So we strongly advise that if you are eligible for this opportunity and would like to do so, take advantage of it right away, because once you get busy, you might forget. And unfortunately, we do have members call us on day 271 and want to take advantage of the opportunity. And unfortunately, at that point, we're like, oh, you missed it. You know, we have to try to figure something else out. So please take advantage of it if you're eligible to do so. We also have, for those of you who are maybe not new hires or district transfers this year, this fall, we will be doing our second service center open enrollment. And that is where specific service centers, and I'm going to read you the list, where they're able to offer one of these special enrollment opportunities to all of the chapters that make up their service center. So if you are in a chapter in the Bay Valley, Delta, Fresno Madera, Golden Gate, High Desert, Imperial County, Merced Mariposa, Redwood, or Stanislaus, if your chapter is in any of those service centers, then you'll have the same, that not the same as new hire, but you will have a special enrollment opportunity. You'll be able to get into the disability insurance without health questions. You could go up to 200,000 on the life insurance, guarantees you no health questions there. So that opportunity is from October 1st to November 30th this year. And if you are in one of those service centers, if you're eligible for that opportunity, just keep an eye out for emails coming from the standard or coming from your service center with more information as that gets closer. One thing that I don't have on the screen here, but I will mention quickly, is that your chapters are eligible to host one of these special enrollment opportunities every 2 to 3 years. And we do about 100 of those. We call them chapter campaigns, and we do about 100 of them every year. So I would suggest that you check in with your chapter leader to see if your chapter is one that is hosting one of those opportunities this year. All right, let's go on to the next slide. There we go. Okay, so how you can get more information from the standard. If you're so if you are a new hire or district transfer this year, you could, yes, thanks for making that bigger. You could go ahead and scan that QR code, and that would take you to a dedicated website where you can get a lot of information, a lot of the stuff that we talked about today. You could watch a video, you can schedule a virtual appointment with us, or you can apply directly online. So if you're a newly hired member, go ahead and scan that QR code, take advantage of that. There's lots of other ways to get information from us, though. Much of the information that we share today is available on the memberbenefits.org site, so ctamemberbenefits.org/insurance. You can apply online. There's a ton more information. There's videos on there. And I believe you can also schedule a virtual appointment. You can also contact the standard directly at standard.com/CTA. And again, there's a ton of information on there and ways for you to either schedule a virtual appointment with us or apply online with us. And then, of course, you can always call us. This presentation is being recorded, and I think this slideshow is going to be published, so you'll be able to find that phone number. It's also on all of these web pages. We do answer our phones. We have actual really nice people who answer our phones. They love to talk to CTA members. And one really nice thing is that when you call the standard, when you call our dedicated service team, you're going to be talking to someone who only works with CTA members. You don't need to know your account number. You don't need your policy number. You don't need any of that. We only work with CTA members, and we'd be able to answer any of your questions about the plan. So that phone number is there for you, and they are available 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. All right. Before we go to trivia, are there any questions for me? I feel like I went through that really fast.
So you might not be able to unmute somebody, but
I can't even unmute myself barely.
I know. So you could put their question in chat, or if you are not able to unmute yourself, you could just ask me to unmute you in chat and I could do that. So you can ask your question verbally.
And Yvonne, I can't see. I think I can only see the chat to you. I don't think I'm going to be able to see if they put, I'm not sure I'll be able
Yeah,
to.
I can see the chat.
Okay, so
Yeah,
if
and
you,
then the URL for the for the website for the Admin Resource Center is standard.com/CTA/new hire.
here's something, but I can't tell if that's a question. All right, let's do this. While we're waiting to see if anyone has questions for me, why don't we do some trivia so I can give away some gift cards? So what I'm going to do is ask a question, and I would like you to put the answer into the chat. Of the correct answers, Yvonne is going to randomly select a winner. And then if you would provide her with your email address when she tells you who has won, if you will provide her with your email, then we will get that Amazon card sent over to you.
Yes, and then we do have a question.
Okay,
So it's not technically standard related, but it is disability and life insurance related. So the member would like to know, how do we check our current disability and life insurance accounts? So if you're not sure if you have been signed up with the standard, one thing you could do is go ahead and contact your district human resources, and then they will be able to see if you do have life and disability insurance, you should see the payroll deduction from your paycheck. But if you're not sure who the provider is, then you could reach out to your district HR, and they will also be able to let you know who your provider is. The provider, if it's the standard or, you know, ABC insurance, they will let you know that. But you can always call the standard too and ask if you have a policy with them. Also, we do have another question. If we sign up today, when does coverage become effective?
That's a great question. So, and partially depends on whether you are a new hire or district transfer, or applying through one of our other opportunities, or with the evidence of insurability. So typically, when you apply for coverage, it would be effective the first of the following month. The exception, though, is for new hires, in which case, if you apply for coverage in advance of your first day of work, then it will be effective on your first day of work. So either the first day of month or the first day of work if you are a new hire. All right, let's do a trivia question while we see if anyone else has things to ask. So let's do this. Yes or no? So the answer we're looking for is yes or no. Yes or no? Do you have to be scheduled to work over the summer to qualify for the summer benefit? Oh, I like that orange screen. That looks nice. I can't
Great.
see any answers, so you're going to have to tell me.
I can see the answer. So the first one to respond, I'm probably not going to say your name right, so I do apologize. It's Zong, Xiong, and you know what? I'm Chinese and I cannot phonetically read it, so I do apologize. So if you could go ahead and please put your email address in the chat to myself, then we'll go ahead and get that out to you.
Yes. And the answer, the correct answer was no. The summer benefit is available to you whether you are scheduled to work over the summer or not. It's one of the things that makes it so awesome. All right, let's do another one. How many insurance carriers does CTA endorse for disability and life insurance?
All right, so we do have an answer from Veronica, and her answer is 1.
Well done, Veronica. You are correct. The standard is I'm super, super proud of this. We are the only carrier that CTA endorses for disability and life insurance. So you may see other carriers floating around your district, but they are not endorsed by your union. All right, let's do another one. True or false? Pregnancy is a covered disability.
All right, so it looks like we have another answer from Veronica.
Well, Veronica, you're racking them up.
Yeah, and her answer is yes.
That is correct. Yes. Before I started working for an insurance company, I did not think of pregnancy or childbirth as a disability, but that is how they're characterized, and that is why you're eligible for benefits. So, way to go. All right, we will do. Why don't we
And
do?
Veronica, if you could put your email in the chat, that would be great.
Awesome. Okay. And let's maybe do one more. So we've given away 3 gift cards so far. We'll do one more. If you are a newly hired CTA member or district transfer this year, how much life insurance can you get without proof of good health? What's the maximum amount that you could get? Did we stump the audience? Maybe I get the gift
so
card.
Veronica again, her
Veronica's
answer
going
is
shopping.
she is. She has a good amount for some great beginning of the school year supplies. So her answer was 400,000.
That is correct. So if you are a district transfer or a new hire this year, you can get up to $400,000 in life insurance without answering health questions. It is the highest amount that we offer without having to go through medical evidence. So, all right. Unless there are any other questions for me, I think that kind of wraps up our presentation. Any last questions you might have on the disability or the life insurance?
The only thing I want to add is, Veronica, please put your email in the chat.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
she
yes,
did.
Veronica.
She did. I
She
got
did?
it.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Otherwise, how
Okay.
will we get it to her?
Then, Veronica, thank you.
Great. Thank you, the Standard team. We really appreciate your partnership and all the additional benefits that come with the life and disability insurance. You guys have been such a great partner to us and definitely so helpful to all our members. So we appreciate you guys taking your time to do this webinar for us.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
then,
We love working with
perfect.
CTA members, so we're excited to be here.
Oh, I love it. You guys could go ahead and drop off. I just have a few more slides for some of the members if they want to just stay on for about 2 more minutes so I could just let them know about some other additional benefits that we have.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having us. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Great. Thank you. So for those who are still here, I wanted to talk about some great benefits, just a touch of just some of the benefits that we do have. So we do offer what is called the University Credit Program. So it's a benefit to our CTA members attending statewide conferences, and they'll be given the opportunity to accumulate the hours for professional growth needed for university credit. And we do partner with CSU Chico. So this is a great way to get a step up in your pay scale. CTA will pay up to 6 credits a year, but you can do 9. And then in the summer months, you can also do 6 credits also. So CTA will pay for 12 units. Sorry, I said credits, 12 units for the year. What a great opportunity to, move up on the pay scale during the summer or even through the school year. If you're not able to attend any of our conferences, it's okay. During that time of COVID, we still had conferences, but they were all virtual and we recorded those trainings. So if you look on the bottom, if you look at the second access, it says virtual pass. That's where you can actually watch the different trainings online to get credit for university credit. And if we have any brand new educators out there that just joined CTA also for the first time, we have a classroom setup grant. So you could get $300 to set up your classroom. So you must be a brand new active full-time CTA member in good standing. You must have joined CTA for the first time as a California educator, and then you must submit an application within 12 months of the employment date. So if you qualify, that's awesome. If you also know somebody or in your district or in your school site that's a brand new educator, this would be a great opportunity for you to let them know that they can get $300 to set up their classroom. And then CTA does offer what we call the Disaster Relief Fund. Right now there's been a lot of fires going on in California, and this grant is available to all our members, regardless if it's a fire, if it's rain, flooding, if your power goes out, if you needed to be evacuated from your home. We do offer grants for our members for this. So if you have to be evacuated or your power went out, we do have short-term and temporary displacement grants. These could help cover the cost of like a hotel, food, clothing, anything that you needed to get while you were not in your primary home. So if you know anybody that may need this, or just kind of keep this in your back pocket just in case if anything happens to your home, your primary home, then this is a great resource to help you out. And then there's also a school site grant too. So if there's a natural disaster that occurs at your school site and you did lose some personal items, not the school's items, you can also get up to $500 too. And then we do have some homework for everybody. So CTA and NEA does offer a death and dismemberment plan. Basically, it's a free life insurance while you are an active member of CTA. So in the event of your untimely death while you are still a CTA member, not retired member, there is a death benefit for you. So you'll be able to see the different payouts there for NEA and CTA. If there is an accidental death or dismemberment, CTA does have a flat payout of 10,000. NEA does have a payout also, but it's just ranges from years of service. So that's either 1 to 5,000. And then CTA and NEA have matching benefits for occupation association leaders. So if you're an association leader or if you are out on occupation business and something does happen to you, there is a $50,000 payout. And then NEA has an additional benefit. It's the unlawful homicide. So this came about during Columbine years ago. There is a payout of $150,000. You know, we want to make sure our educators, you know, are always safe, but we do have a benefit for them. So your homework is to assign your beneficiary. So you would need to go to our website, which I will put on the next screen. If you don't assign any beneficiaries, there is an order of payout. So it does go to your spouse, domestic partner first, your children, your parents, brothers and sisters, and then the executor, sorry, I can't pronounce that, or administrator of your trust. So if you do have any questions, you can reach out to myself, Yvonne Chang. I'm ychang@cta.org. And then Sean Maybe, he's smaybe@cta.org. And if you do have any questions, you can email us at memberbenefits@cta.org. And then visit our website, ctamemberbenefits.org, to assign your beneficiaries. And then for NEA, you could do it on their website, or you could go ahead and call them, and then you'll see the number listed below. All right. Do we have any other questions? If not, we will give this day back to you. Sean, do you want to add anything?
No, the only thing I would add is thank you, Yvonne, for organizing this and to the Standard for presenting. And we appreciate the partnership and all of our members joining. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you for saying that, Sean. So thank you, everybody, for attending and the Standard for taking their time to talk to our great members. All right. With no questions, we'll go ahead and end the meeting now. Thank you very much. Bye.